Morning, friends. It's shaping up to be a really nice day today. We've had some really nice weather the past few days, so I've been spending a lot of time outside working in the garden, and I just wanted to show you just a couple of really exciting developments in the garden. My onion transplants just came in the mail a couple days ago, so over the past couple days I've been planting out lots of onions. I have historically not had the best success growing onions. They tend to be really small and don't really yield all that well for me. I've tried growing from seed and I've tried growing from sets, so I figured this year I would order some transplants. So I just got a shipment of onions from Dixondale Farms. They seem to be, I've never ordered from them before, but they seem to have a good reputation and had a good selection, reasonable prices. So I did get some onions from them, and they sent me a lot of onions, more than I ordered. So I have been fitting them in wherever I can here and there in the garden. I don't have a specific bed or specific area dedicated to growing onions, so I've been kind of fitting them in. This trellis is where I'm going to be growing my tomato plants, and then I'm going to have some other sun-loving plants on the ground in front. So I decided to try making a little border of onions and see how that does. As I said, onions are kind of my nemesis. So figured I would give it a try this way since I haven't tried it this way before. So if you have any onion growing tips, definitely share those in the comments because I would love to hear those. Hoping this will finally be the year that I have some good success with onions. So I got 3 varieties. I'm here in Connecticut, fairly far north, which means that in my area, I need to grow long day onions. So I ordered 3 varieties of long day onions. I got Patterson, which is a yellow storage onion, and I got Red Wing, which is a red storage onion. I wanted to get a couple varieties of storage onions because my main goal was to just be able to store the onions as long as possible and have some fresh garden produce as far as possible into the winter. I also got some Ailsa Craig onions, which are a larger, sweeter variety. I've never grown that one before, but it's supposed to be really good and yield really large bulbs. So I decided to give that a try. That one's not a storage onion. So we'll use those right away, and then I'll probably chop and freeze whatever's left. So over here, I've got lots of lettuce seedlings coming up. These are just starting, but looking really good. Got some pak choi and other little seedlings just starting. Every year, I plant my peas. They take a long time to germinate because I tend to plant them early before the ground is really warmed up. And then I always worry every year that they've rotted and didn't germinate. But once again this year, they're proving my worries unfounded and finally coming up. So yesterday I noticed the first little bits of pea seedlings just starting to come up. You can see a couple more over there too. So it's been my experience that once the first couple sprout, the rest aren't far behind. So it shouldn't be too long before we've got this whole fence lined with peas. So as you can see, there's a lot going on in the garden. A lot of it is really good, and I'm really excited about a lot of the progress I'm seeing, but has not all been positive. So a couple days ago, I showed you a seedling update video and we talked all about all my cool weather seedlings that are hardening off. So I think I filmed that seedling update video on Saturday, and then I scheduled it to post on Monday morning. So you know there was 2 days in between. Anyway, so on Sunday, we had an incident. And basically, I've mentioned my cat Belle is an indoor-only cat. We kind of decided that we want to keep her as an indoor-only cat. My cat Milo has been going outside for years, so he's really used to going outside and has to stay indoor-outdoor. But we just got Belle this last spring, and we're trying to keep her indoor-only. So anyway, she's for the most part been fine with that, but she was showing a little bit of interest in trying to go in and outside. You know, she sees Milo outside sometimes, she smells the fresh air, she's kind of curious about it. So all these seedlings in the hardening off process here, that means that they go outside for a few hours every day, but they still come inside at night. So I have to bring all these trays out here in the morning and then bring them in at night. And I was trying to bring all the trays in the house without letting Belle outside. So I had the door open. So I was rushing because, you know, trying to keep the cat inside, and I had the door open like the minimum amount possible. And I tripped over the threshold of the door while I was holding my entire tray of cauliflower seedlings. It was so bad. So this is how my cauliflower looks now. I mean, you can clearly see it's a less than ideal situation. I think a couple of them will be okay, but some of them are definitely gone and some of them may not recover. I'm not really sure. So I completely dropped the entire tray. All but probably 2 of the plants fell out of the pots, and there was just a giant mass of soil and seedlings and amputated leaves all over my floor. So I did the best I could to kind of patch things up, and I think a couple of the plants will be okay. Some of them are still in the wait and see time frame, so I'm not really sure what's going to happen. It's always the cauliflower though. I mean, so 3 years ago, I grew perfect cauliflower. It was beautiful and delicious and wonderful. The next year, I'm not even really sure what happened. I think I might have put them out a little bit too early or something like that. The seedlings just didn't do well. So I replaced the seedlings with plants that I bought in my local nursery. Those did well, which I was happy about. I got my cauliflower harvest. But, I had started the plants from seed and I really wanted those to get a harvest from those. And then last year, I don't even remember what happened. Something happened with the plants after I put them outside and they just didn't do well. I got a little bit of cauliflower, but not significant. This year, my seedlings were looking beautiful. I mean, you saw my video a couple days ago. I told my husband on Sunday after I had dropped the plants, I said, oh no, that video's coming out on Monday. Everyone's going to see my beautiful seedlings, but now I know that that's not what they look like anymore. So the video came out. I'm trying to decide what to do with my cauliflower. I have, as I said, I think a couple that will be fine. I might end up buying some seedlings at a local nursery to replace the others. But if you have cauliflower that's recovered from any kind of trauma like that or similar plants, I'd love to hear how it went for you because I'm not really sure what my odds of success are with these. So this one has to be thinned out anyway. And yeah, I'm not really sure what's going to happen with these. Even the ones that seemed okay were still missing leaves, so it's really not great. So I'm one of those crazy people that talks to my plants as if they can actually understand me. So I apologized to the cauliflower. And then I went over and looked at my beautiful tray of broccoli and my tray of kale and cabbage. And I told it, don't worry, I'm going to be so careful. I'm not going to let anything like that happen to the rest of you. Well, the next day, I had all my seedlings out on the deck again. I had to leave and bring my daughter to work. Left the seedlings out, came back, did a little bit of yard work, and then I let my chickens out. And if you have chickens, you can probably guess what's going to happen next. So I was outside working in the garden, and I was like, oh, I forgot I need to bring those plants in. So I came into the house, went out on my deck to grab the plants, and I saw the chickens on my deck table eating my plants. So I think that I found them just as they first started. My kale didn't seem too badly damaged. So if you look closely, you can see a couple damaged leaves, but overall, this still looks okay. So I think that these are actually going to be fine. But guys, I don't think my plants trust me anymore. I had just promised those plants that I was not going to let anything happen to them, like what happened to the cauliflower, and now I just left them on the deck to get attacked by, from their perspective, giant chickens. So in my to-do list every day, I have a little to-do list on my phone with the little check marks that I check off. I put down hard enough plants for today for 4 hours, and I put in parentheses, not while chickens are outside. So hopefully that will help me remember. So the point of all this is that, my garden is overall doing really well, but I've made some pretty significant mistakes this year. Despite that, I think my garden overall will still do well. I don't know about my cauliflower, that may not do well. But worst case scenario, I can buy some cauliflower seedlings locally, and I'll still have cauliflower, even though it's not the cauliflower that I grew myself from seed. So I kind of joke about how this makes me a bad gardener, but really, these kind of things happen, and my garden is still gonna do really well, and I'm still gonna be really happy with it. So thank you for hanging out with me today and listening to my tale of woe and my poor seedlings and their traumatic experience they've had. So I hope your gardening season is overall going a little more smoothly than mine so far. But I also hope that you come back and hang out with me as we do more gardening, as we take some garden tours together. I know I'm interested to see how my cauliflower turns out, so if you'd like to see that, definitely come back and see what happens with that as well. So I hope you're having a good day, and I can't wait to see you soon. I'll see you next time.